Welcome back to FMR Therapy. JC here, the people's therapist, and we're going to do a one-leg hip hinge. Let's review the hip hinge. If you have a broom or a PVC pipe, it helps you to see what your true hip hinge is. You're going to place that pipe along the back side of you. You want it to be right there in between the butt cheeks. You want it to be right on your upper back. And then there's room for your hand to slide in that lumbar spine area, and even for your knuckles to grab that PVC pipe. If you don't have that kind of room, or your shoulder cannot do this, you've got other issues, my friend. We should work on that together. So hip hinge, I'm turning my pelvis way down here. This is the action of movement that's happening way down here. My knees are slightly bent, and I'm turning my pelvis over, and I can tell that I'm doing that at my pelvis because I still have room for my hand to pass through here. I still have my PVC pipe on my back and right there on my tailbone, right? It's making contact with all of those things as I get into that hip hinge. So if I try to do this with one leg on the ground, I want to maintain that nice flat posture. I'm bracing right here or squeezing my abs on the side there so that I can put one leg off the ground and then go into that same shape. But what about if you don't feel it in your hamstrings? Well, then we probably are doing some more of a teeter-totter. So if I get into a teeter-totter, I'm going to use this to cheat. I've got one leg on the ground, I've got the other leg that's going to go behind me, and then my body's going in front of me. So now I have this balancing that I'm doing on this leg here, and I have a proportionate amount of weight behind this leg and weight in front of this leg. So I'm really just creating a little teeter-totter, and that's all good. Maybe I feel it in my leg, maybe I don't. So in order to get into that hamstring, and in order to make this a much better glute activation exercise, we just need to lean back a little bit and really teach our leg how to do this. I'm going to suggest doing this in a doorway. You might have something else that you can hang on to. But in a doorway, you're going to be able to keep your body nice and braced, right? So I'm going to hold on to either side of the doorway. We're taking one leg back. We're going into that hip hinge position. This knee is softly bent. And then we're just going to sit back into that a little bit. Now that I'm sitting backwards, so I've taken my hips from over my sort of foot and heel to behind my foot and heel. I'm making sure my knee isn't bending. My leg is now starting to shake because it has to hold me in that position. And then I squeeze my bum to come back up. I'm trying not to rely on holding onto that door too much, right? Let me show you with this leg here. So I've got a soft little buckle in that knee. I don't want it to be super straight, and I don't want it to bend while I do this. So a soft little buckle in that knee. My back is nice and flat. I'm going to hinge at the hip, right? Straighten that leg out behind me so that it's nice and, chill. And then from here, I'm just going to sort of sit back. I'm going to hold that position until I can feel that my leg is working hard here. And then as I come up, I'm going to be squeezing this glute cheek, right? And trying not to use the door to pull me back up. One thing that I want you to look out for is that when you're in that hip hinge position, that you're not opening up the back leg like that. You want to keep these two hips square, these 2 points pointing it to the floor equally so that you're not opening up back there, right? If I'm doing it on this leg, it would look like that. We just want to make sure to roll that leg down, get those 2 hips pointed toward the floor so we can really get into the backside of that hip, get into that glute, and then just work on that. If you can get into that position and not use a door, not use a wall, not use holding on to anything, now we're talking. Now you're killing it, right? So work on that, I don't know, 2 or 3 days a week. Give yourself 10 reps on either leg. Feel the burn, enjoy the burn. Maybe get a little glute stretch after. Let me know how that goes, huh? Thanks for sticking around, you guys.